Welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is this is for the collective, especially folks who have ancestral lineage of the colonial variety. Not necessarily white folks, but yeah, definitely you, us. I think so. I've been about. I'm not trying to gloat or brag. It's not like this was a fun process. I saw a reading this morning that was like, being crazy is just being early most of the time. And yeah, I've been about 15 years early in my consciousness journey. At least. Probably a little bit more than that. But I want to get on because right now things are a little crazy. It's finally getting back to Americans specifically that you are going to be impacted. And I feel like we're witnessing this like global collective dark night of the soul. And I would think my throat. I think the important thing to talk about there's a few things. First and foremost, this band, I found this band on TikTok this morning, The Who, H-U. They're Mongolian, I don't think this is them, I think this is someone else at this point. They're Mongolian folk rock, oh yeah, it's just a commercial. And I highly recommend listening to them if you want to, well, it depends on where you are in your journey. But for me, it's like awakening the warrior within me. So there's a few things. As folks are recognizing or realizing, you know, for me, it's like that they're going to be impacted. For me, it's like I've been trying, yeah, it's been about 20 years. I've been trying to get people to care about genocides that they are not impacted by for a very long time. And my family, namely, you know, you guys already know that if you've been on my channel, you know that my family, like, locked me up and they were like, what the fuck? I really need to turn the swamp cooler off at night. I know I'm all over the place. I felt called to do this and I wanted to be very articulate and I'm not doing that. Honestly, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with Americans specifically, who are like, you know, we've been sounding the alarm for a long time, and you know, what hasn't impacted you hasn't affected you, and it's led you to this like space of apathy, which means that you don't care, right? If you're not personally impacted, that's the American psyche, is to only care about, I don't know, only care about things when they impact you or when they can like help you get your own, right? It's just such a selfish society that we live in. Can you hear the music? Listen to this. I'm gonna turn it up for a sec, but not all the way. So it's the and then HU, which I just looked up. I was like, what does this mean in Mongolian? And it means, it's like the root word for human, and they use this band name, Google said, to encompass all of humanity. But they sing about like evildoers, and they have all the captions, so you can read the lyrics as they sing. Why the vulnerable ethics of the ancestors become worthless, you know, shit like that. Highly recommend. I just found them on YouTube or on TikTok. Anyway. Oh god, my throat was not doing this before I started recording. Fuck. So, a lot of people are talking, right? I spend a lot of my time on TikTok listening to people. And a lot of people are talking about how, oh, we're here now, right? And I think that's, for me, it's really frustrating. And I know I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people who find that frustrating, right? Um, but um, what I want to say is, I feel like the the base of this video is about stepping into your warrior, who you are as a warrior, because we're gonna be needing to fight. And I think Americans are not, for the most part. I mean, I wouldn't call. Okay. So if you're an American, you know. I mean, even if you're not an American, you know, because this shit has been blasted all over the world. But you know that there are subsets, there's different rankings, there's different hierarchies to the racism, and to the systems that we are living under, as well as how people respond and who they're responding to. So let's take the patriots, the oath keepers, the militias, for instance. I think the thing about this country is how divided it has become by design, because that serves the powers that be, regardless of where you fall on any sort of spectrum, what color you believe in, whatever, how you voted. Regardless, I think that one thing we can agree on is like if you go so far right, you kind of end up on the left, right? Like if you think of it as a circle instead of a straight line. Because I know as the way I politically lean, I'm not going to use the language anymore because you know why. But the way I lean is that I think that we should make these systems obsolete. I believe that we should build community. I believe that we should come together. I believe in land back at a global scale. I'm on the side of the majority of the people on the planet, which are indigenous folks, black and brown folks. And if I have to die for that cause, I accepted that a long time ago. I've always had a murder spirit. I just didn't always have the direction of what I would be, the reason for martyrdom. And now it's pretty blatantly clear the reasons that we have, right? It's pretty clear cut, but within that clear cut, there's also different stages and different levels. So, when Palestine started getting really bad on October 7th of 2023, when the actual extinction part of the genocide started, I took a bee out of my house yesterday on this piece of paper. And it stayed on this piece of paper for a long time. Extermination is the 9th stage of genocide. So when that, if you've been following Palestine for any sort of time, or even if you are, if we can just stay in the United States, the extinction part is, look at how black and brown folks are treated, indigenous people, and black folks in this country. They are always targeted and exterminated by the state, okay? Whether it's a police shooting, or whether it was, the land, taking the signing of treaties and taking the land anyway. And so a couple of things I want to recommend. If you are brand new, if you are an American and you are brand new to learning about these systems of oppression and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? I have a lot of resources for decolonizing yourself on this channel. They're starting points. This is not a hear-all, be-all. I'm not like a guru. I just shared a lot of my process that helped me decenter myself from society and support the ethical way of being, right? For me. So I highly recommend doing that. Also read Howard Zinn's The True History of the United States of America. No, The People's History of the United States of America. There's a lot of books that are circulating on my FYP on TikTok. There's one specifically about slavery in the United States. There's lots of books out there. Education is key. That's why they want to burn the books. So I see books as incredibly valuable in these times, and if you can get your hands on them, which you still can at this point in time. Now, the changes that have just gone in with TikTok, it's now turning over to an American Israeli company. A very small percentage of the app is going to stay in a Chinese-based. It's over now. I don't know if I'm going to keep going on TikTok now that I know that. I think it's good for information and connecting, but I think we all need to be aware of how that's going to be. The propaganda is going to go crazy. So that's why I'm calling for folks to decolonize. I mean, everyone's calling for people to decolonize. But I think be ready to fight. Be ready to fight. And not just for yourselves, but be ready to protect your neighbors. And if you're not, think about why. Think about why you're not ready for that, right? Think about what you would need to do. Are you a safe person for black and brown? This Band-Aid is falling apart. I know it's gross. It's really weird. I got a blister from putting together the screwdriver to put that damn tablet together. And I peeled the skin too early, so I had to use the Band-Aid. Look at this. It's a bunch of bikers. I know I got a bunch of shit there. Highly recommend this music. It's getting me going, for sure. Look up to people who are also in this space. I think now is the time. So, like I said, I started saying, sorry, I have ADD. But when Palestine started like really happening, that first few months we were all stunned, right? Like we couldn't believe it. And I remember talking to my family. I was still in contact with my mother, and my mother is just such an apathetic, ignorant person, willingly and knowingly. And she often says, "Oh, I just want to stick my head in the sand. Like I'd rather be an ostrich. I'd rather not know." And I just couldn't. I mean, that you already know if you've been here. There were a lot of other personal reasons. But it made me realize, because I saw the trajectory of where we were going into civil war, right? And we're here now. I mean, people are starting to call it that, but hello, what else would this be? I mean, you have masked people, The United States is occupied, but it's always been occupied. And I think that's the thing that white Americans especially, or anyone with any sort of privilege or hierarchy within the system, is starting to recognize, for indigenous and black folks, they've always known that, right? But for the most part, you still have, there's overlaps within all of that. But I think that, first and foremost, check yourself, figure out where you are a part of the problem. And I have a couple readings on here that are labeled that. The Collective Convo playlist is going to be the most helpful. That and the Daily Decolonizing playlist are going to be the most helpful for you to step into your power in these times, if that's your calling. Not everyone is called to fight back, but if you're on my channel, you probably are. You probably are someone who wants to fight back. So there's a few things that are happening. First and foremost, when you see something happen out in the world, speak it, document it, yell about it, whatever. I have a megaphone. I should start using that. If you are oh shit, I just had a thought. Oh, so as we're witnessing this, so there's this thing happening where there's like this split, right? There's a dichotomy, if you will. Who's that guy that makes all those videos about the people who use dichotomy is one of those words. There's a split in, there's a lot of splits. It's more of like an asterisk, right? Like an asterisk or whatever. It's not just one split. It's like all of these severings. And it was done by design for control. So to keep us divisive. I have a picture of this. The way that the system works, right? The richest, the police protect them, and criminalize us, right? Like the police are used to protect the elite from us, and then all of us are put at ends against each other to support this hierarchy. Now, without participation from us, right, if we so choose to just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that anymore, then it would just be like this, because we are what they are built on, right? Like that Pink Floyd song, Another Brick in the Wall. So you take the brick out, what's gonna happen? It's gonna topple. It's like Jenga, right? That's revolution. That's what that is. So as the goal for us down here is to be in community, whether we go back to, like the land back movement is not just about getting land back, it's also about living life in more, in more natural ways. It's about going back to what's basic, right? Because these fuckers up here are talking about transhumanism, robots, right? There's a whole bunch of shit about gropers going around. As a millennial, this has just been going on for like 25 years, the internet. So there's like all of these subsects outside of this that I don't even understand, because I don't spend any time on the dark web at all. I don't spend any time in Roblox, and I definitely don't spend any time with incels, right? But that's like a conversation that's happening on my FYP again. So anyway, if you are a person that has a relatively good conscience and like you believe in humanity and you want like the survival of the planet and whatnot, or like you're one of these people who is getting on and be like, okay, we're here now. First of all, we've been here. You're just finally being impacted. Your row and your column is finally being impacted by these, right? But we're all down here together. And that's what I think, we're at this moment of consciousness where people are realizing we're either in it together or we're not. And I think, I don't know, I stay by myself most of the time. Me and my kid are just like at home chilling. But I think that, I don't know, I want to say that I feel like things are getting better, because like I'm thinking about the the flotilla right now that's headed towards Palestine. That's like 40 countries and like 50 boats, and it's all of these people from all over the world, and like that's the future that we want, right? Like that's some of us. That's the vision, right? And like celebrating people's cultures and like, you know, being able to have access to each other in these ways, like using technology and thinking about technology in that way instead of oppressive ways is also part of the goal, and making sure that you're a part of that. How is your platform being used? How are you utilizing your time online? Are you part of the problem? Are you sharing information? What are you doing? Are you only seeing your friends, that you've had forever? Like, is it just that network on your FYP? Like, what is it? What is your part in this? And I think that's the thing. I've made many videos about the roles of revolution for the past few years, and like everybody has a role, and all of those roles are not different. And again, just like this, they're gonna overlap, right? So you might have a role up here and down here, and you may have a little bit more money than others. So how can you, it's like a chessboard, how can you make moves? How can you use your privilege to, again, help these either remove themselves from this system and start building somewhere else, or just take down this part? Right? Redistribute, which we just saw in Nepal. They just did this. They just came together, got past them, and were able to topple this part of the pyramid, right? There's only 4 little rungs up here. There's a whole lot down here. We have the power, right? We've always had the power. We being those who want a better future, want the earth to live, want the people to be safe, right? Want to honor women and children. These motherfuckers, I just saw a TikTok yesterday too where this sister was saying, we're being controlled by losers, right? And I think that's where a lot of people are starting to wake up to that. Like, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, those are losers, okay? They may have technology, they may have money, but again, that's a made up system. Without that, if you were to strip away that money, what would you be left with, right? So thinking a little deeper. So, for me, I'm getting really into a warrior spirit. I'm going to take my training and balance. I think, okay, so another part I wanted to talk about is the integration of your own shadow. When you have integrated your own shadow, which I talk about all the fucking time over here, I'm not going to do a big overview on that. If you want to see that, there's an integrating shadow playlist. There's a shadow work playlist. The daily decolonizing is going to take you through some of those prompts as well. What was I going to say? Ooh, fuck. I love this shit. What was I gonna say? Immerse yourself in different cultures and different things. We have access to everyone all over the world. So use that, right? If you need to make like a fake profile or something that a lot of the people like that are in your, you know, I think that's part of the process is really distancing yourself from people who, you know, if you feel stuck, then look around you and be like, why do I feel stuck? Oh, it's you. And you, and you, and you. I know if that's true for me. A lot of people that I've had in my life wouldn't allow me to grow into what I, right? And I made a reading about that. That's the blade of grass versus a tree reading, right? Like, some people are meant for bigger things than others, and it's just the way it is. And if you feel like you're one of those people that's meant for things that are greater, then you need to immerse yourself into that greatness by taking these steps to educate yourself, about the world around you, about what you want for the future, about the ways that you were miseducated, about the ways that you've fallen for stupid shit, about the ways that you've, you know, followed trends blindly because everyone else was. We've all been there. But you don't have to keep going that way. You have free will. You can choose to be on the front line, either figuratively or literally or internet-wise. Or you can choose to do something else. You can choose to whatever. But all of this to say is that if you are just now recognizing that, okay, I'm going to be affected now, so now I have to do something about it, I'm short-circuiting because I don't want to be a bitch, so I'm trying to think of something nice to say. Sorry. Welcome to the movement, and also, please use whatever privilege has gotten you to this point to be able to ignore everything for the betterment of everyone else, right? If you're feeling like you're just now being affected when all of these atrocities have been happening and, you know, you haven't paid attention to one of them and now you expect someone to come and help you. So many of us have been saying that saying for years, right? Like, first they came for them, and then they came for them, and then they came for them, and then it was my turn, and there was no one left to vouch for me. There was no one left to fight for me, right? So we're in this time. You know, and I think that getting right with your, whatever it is you believe, whether that's God, creator, divine, spirit, the universe, whatever it is. I like to think of God as an acronym for galaxies and other dimensions, right? For me, that's helpful. If it's helpful for you, if it's not, don't take it, okay? I don't really think of God as a sky daddy, or like Ariel's dad. I don't. I used to, but I don't anymore, right? I think of creation in a different way, and I don't think that we always need to have those answers. In fact, I think that as humans we're not supposed to. All I want to say is, though, I feel like there's going to be a lot of death, a lot of destruction. We're already seeing this, a lot of terror, a lot of trauma, and as long as we're letting it happen, it's going to keep happening, okay? And that's what I mean. If you want to step into your warrior, if you want to be a part of the fucking solution to making the world a better place / staying alive, right? This planet is a living being, and this planet is fighting against humans right now, right? Because look at what the fuck our human race has done to this planet, right? And it hasn't been so much on us, right, down here. I mean, yeah, sure, some of us litter, some of us don't recycle, right? But ultimately, you know, it's all of the extraction of goods. It's the mistreatment of us down here because we are also a part of this planet's creation, right? So when we disrespect each other, we disrespect ourselves, and we disrespect the planet, and we disrespect who created us, whether we have a different name for it or not, right? It's really just not that hard. So anyway, watch Kill Bill. Watch those movies that make you want to fight, make you want to warrior up, give you that oomph, right? Like, what awakens your goddamn spirit? What makes you want to stand up for something? What is it? For me, I really need to get into my archery. I have my bow back here. You guys want to see my arrows? I'll show you. I gotta get like a Katniss thing, and I gotta get a target to practice. But I want to show you some shit. Hang on. So there's some shit by my front door. I've got my bulletproof vest here. I've got a knife on my door. I've got my helmets right here for me and my son. I mean, we're in times of war, bro. And, you know, the way that these white supremacists are talking, again, there's varying levels to that. We already talked about that. Look at that. They're blades. See that? So what makes you want to, there's like 3 of them. What makes you want to, you know, survival of the fittest? Get in that energy of whatever it is that you want. You guys want to see my bow? It's so pretty. I like doing extra feminine with this kind of shit. It's pink. So anyway, I gotta get a target so I can practice. Last fall, I was doing a lot of practicing with like but not baton twirling, but like being able to flip weapons and catch them and use them effectively. So whatever it is for you, you know, we have to get into these. I mean, you don't have to do shit, but if you want, you know, I'm a single mom. I gotta look out for mine, you know. So I got my bulletproof vest right here. I got his bulletproof vest right over there. My child has a secret bunker just in case. Our helmets, we have face masks here too. I already told you guys my thing is camouflage. I'm gonna look like the people who are coming to the door when they come to the door. That's my tactic. We'll see how that goes. But I think getting right with your creator, being at peace with the outcomes of whatever is gonna happen, is gonna happen. So whatever that looks like for you, I think that's part of your integrating of shadow, making amends for the wrongdoings you've done. There's a lot of unknown. These motherfuckers have made it perfectly clear that they're going to be using all the fucking stops to get complete control over all of us, right? Right now, it's already terrifying, but you know, with winter coming in the northern hemisphere, they're going to use that to their advantage as well. So stock up on foods, get your water, right? All of this shit, prep. I have a Mommy's Preps playlist. Go check that out. Have a safety plan for either natural or human disasters, right? Thinking about what your family would do, where you could go. Maybe start collecting wood if you need to for fires. Think about shit differently, because the comforts that this society offers us are going to be used to keep us divisive. And I think that's something that Americans are finally starting to recognize, especially those of you who have been extra privileged. You know, if you're a new poor, there's a lot of people online who do new poor, like old poor folks, sharing some of the ways to survive as being a poor person. I think decentering a few things in your life, like money, is a good thing. Finding other ways to survive, right? Okay, I think I spoke a lot. I hope people watch this. Listen to some music to get you inspired to take action, or watch the movies, you know, watch Hunger Games, watch Star Wars, Watch the movies about revolution. Watch V for Vendetta. I mean, those are just 3. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but I think it's really frustrating to see people being like, oh, this is bad, when we've like literally seen how bad it can be happening for years, and nobody cared, right? That shit pisses me off. And I'm not just talking about Palestine. Like right now I'm thinking about that woman in Sudan who was like live streamed last week, who that man had her hanging from her arms or like her shoulders from a tree and was torturing her, and everyone was just like, oh my god, Taylor Swift got engaged. So, I don't know. Figure out where you are in this. Figure out what you want to see for the future if you've got kids. Figure out what you want your kids to have in the future, if there is a future. We're in these prophetic times. And we're in the age of Aquarius, which means that the veil has been lifted. So there's rapid awakenings, which can lead to psychosis, which can lead to extra violence. And be careful about the way that the media is spinning these scapegoats as well, right? Like Luigi. I personally do not believe that Luigi was the person that did the United Health shooting. I don't. I feel like he was scapegoated, right? Which is exactly what they're doing about last week. I didn't even know who that guy was last week, and I'm so proud of myself for that. Like, that man was not in my reality. Because I don't exist on that side of things. So, also, if you're a parent to white children, please do your best to make sure that your children know that they are not the fucking center of the universe, and that they are part of the problem, right? Clearing your colonial lineage is something that is incredibly necessary at this point in time. And I've talked a lot about that in all of the things. That's part of decolonizing and integrating your shadow, especially as someone with colonial lineage. Your shadow work is going to look like decolonizing. It's going to look like anti-racist work. It's going to look like cultural understanding, learning about the world differently, because you've never had to. Let's keep it so fucking for real. Right? And that's part of the white privilege. I remember learning about white privilege. It was so uncomfortable. But when you start to think of things as a system, it's easier to alleviate that guilt and shame, but that guilt and shame is part of your lineage as well, and that's part of the shadow work that needs to be addressed, right? And once you've come to that, right, like, I have no problem standing 10 toes down with white men. Actually, I'm very excited for that, honestly. I have no fucking problem with that. I look forward to it. In fact, every time I do interact with them, I always have a couple jabs that I like to say. Because they're the top of the totem pole as far as, this system is concerned. So if I can knock them down a couple rungs in an individual level, I'd love to do that, right? I think that we already know, that comes from like a Napoleon complex, right? But this shit is years in the making, right? This is a continued cycle, and this planet, it's not sustainable for any one of us. So if we really are serious about saving not only ourselves, but others, then it's time to act. It's time to do things differently. That's the time that we're in, okay? I don't have anything else I can say. I'm going to start training harder. I just started incorporating a couple new things into my daily routine. Not yesterday, the day before, and then I skipped yesterday, so that I was like, god damn it. So I'm gonna do those things first today. Not first, it's like 10 o'clock, but early this morning so that they're done and I don't have to feel like bad about it. But I would say start training, especially if you're a woman. It's time to get your endurance up, myself included. I'm gonna start going for walks, I think, if that feels safe. I don't know. I might get one of those little treadmills from TikTok Shop to practice endurance. But it's not going to all happen at once, and I think that's another thing that this society has really done to harm us is that this idea of, you know, consumerism and instant gratification. So when people are making big lifestyle changes, they expect that to be the way, and then they give up when it's not, right? That's part of our shadow work. That's part of our understanding of how we work. This past couple of years, as I've been releasing toxicity and integrating, like folding in good patterns, right? And keeping in my head, it only takes 21 days. It only takes 21 days to rewire your brain and your body and your muscle memory into doing a new thing and in getting into a new routine, right? So that's 3 fucking weeks. That's not even a month, okay? So before Halloween, if you start today, before Halloween, you could have incorporated new things or released the bad things, right? Think about it a little bit differently. That's part of the pivots. But that's mind over matter. Stay strong in your mental, and these are the ways that you do that. You acknowledge your harm, you acknowledge your lineage's harm, you acknowledge what your part in this, and how we can change it, okay? Thank you for coming to my sermon. I'm kidding. This is really long, but I'm glad they're here. You're not alone, and that's the thing. Find other people. Use these tools, the internet, to find people that inspire you, people that call out that warrior spirit within you. And remember that we're all here at this time. Our souls are here on this planet at this time to support this moment. And as more people awaken and join the ranks of those who are fighting against this evil, we do really have an ability to turn things around and create a completely different world. There are way more of us than there are of them.